What's a risk like recently that you feel like you've taken?
Um, this this Colorways Summit that I wasn't sure how everyone was going to react to, and whether or not I'd be able to get support from the companies that I reached out to. And it really was just hoping that people would believe in what I was doing, and I was so stressed when this all started, but it's 2 weeks away, and I'm feeling a lot better about taking that risk.
Tell us a little
So
bit
what?
about it.
Yeah, so on Instagram you can go to it at Colorways by MSC. And that's the Instagram handle to get some more info.
Yeah, it's a 2-day summit for women of color in our industry. It's not limited to just owners. I really wanted to get printers, brand owners, like clothing brand owners, and of course shop owners, because we are a women-owned shop as well. I It kind of came from a place of not feeling like there was a type of community where women of color could feel a sense of authenticity around each other. I've been to different tours and summits, and there have been like panels and groups that specially focus on getting women together. But even within those groups, like, I felt like a minority. I was like one of three in a particular group that I experienced last summer. We toured Bella Canvas. There were panel discussions, and there was a lot of discussion about having male advocates in the industry. And I really felt that a lot of the discussions needed to be focused around having like white women advocates in this industry. I was only at that summit because Amy Baker from Threadbare, invited me to be there. Yeah, it's happening. We're doing 2 days in Reno, Nevada, and we have tours at San Mars Distribution Warehouse. We're touring Stitches Clothing Company, and then day 2 is a series of panel discussions featuring people from Printavo, All Made, Bella Canvas, and really looking forward to it. So
that's awesome. So what do you think are some of the topics that you want to touch on to be able to go deeper into at the conference?
So the 3 panels, the first is just about women in the industry, breaking barriers. It's myself, Kendall Sowers from Inktovo, and Kesni Muhammad from Big Printing. For me, I just really want to talk about how Colorways came about, how I'm looking for a community and to continue to build on something like this, because in my search of, finding attendees, everyone has expressed that they've been like waiting and looking for something like this, which has helped me to, continue to keep it going. Another topic is just talking about, I really want to hear about the upbringing of some of the panelists and how that has impacted them in their print shops, how they've dealt with adversity, and just hearing from their particular perspectives. And then there will be discussions on sustainability, whether that's from a super small business and how they are managing their day-to-day, to a company like All Made and what they're doing for the industry. So it's a wide range of topics.
And you've got Kesni, who's an incredible speaker and business owner too.
Looking forward to meeting her.
Christine, like, it's quite obvious the printing industry is male dominated, and it's probably predominantly white male dominated. I don't know if I'm considered a minority. My parents are both, I'm Egyptian, I guess, maybe. But I think you're doing like 2 things almost at the same time, which are really hard to do, right? It's like minorities and women all in one conference. And then, like, have you felt, you're kind of, and what I can hear from this is, I'm doing this because I couldn't find the community in the industry, or it was talked about, but it wasn't done. What has that been like for you? Can you talk a little bit about like being both a woman and, minority, and what that's like for you to go to a trade show, or what are those experiences like for you? Because I think we need to learn from you.
Yeah, I think you're right in saying that, like, it has been talked about and people want to help, but nothing has really been done as far as like I've experienced. At the trade shows, it's something as little as, I'm going there to go buy my Sprint 3000. I'm at the M&R booth, and, no one's really paying attention to me, thinking that just by looking at me that I wouldn't, be interested in buying one of the machines, or just like they would just move to the next person. Or,
an old white guy from Illinois doesn't want to sell you a press. Oh, yeah, they don't want to sell me one either. I'm just kidding. Keep going. What were you going to say?
I'm also always on social media, so I can see someone thinking that, that's my sole role, is like to get Instagram footage at the trade show. I just feel like a bunch of times I'm not taken seriously just because I am a woman. I look super young, and they might not think that I'm there to make, serious decisions, when solely last year I was there to just go look at this dryer that I wanted to buy and to connect with my friends. This came from anger and rage and like not being able to see anybody else make that change. And it truly was, I went over to my friend's house, and I was a little frustrated, and felt, that it wasn't as inclusive as it should have been. And she's like, well, maybe you should be the one to, put something on like this. And then I took that really seriously. And since last summer, have been planning to do something like this. So I'm just really looking forward to how this will, at least have people pay attention to the fact that this has been lacking in the industry, and just having people understand that it's something that's important, that should be happening, and should have happened a long time ago, but we're here now. So
were you able to get the dryer?
Were you able to get the dryer?
Or what'd you get? Yeah.
I did get a Sprint 3000. It ended up being used from a company that I used to work for, called Codis Design.
Oh,
and
I know Codis. Yeah.
You familiar with Codis?
Very Greek.
Really?
Fraternity sororities. Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah. Heavy in the Greek scene. And breweries, and a lot of my accounts while I was there was CrossFit gyms. I bought my machine from them. It was actually just a photo from Dave McLean. And my production manager was like, oh, it looks like it's at Codis. And I was like, I worked there. So it felt like that was a full circle moment, that I needed to get that specific dryer. It was in the price range that we were looking for. And that just arrived last June.
I think before and I want to get into Midnight Supply and stuff like that, I think it's important to acknowledge that being able to talk about starting a discussion is the hardest. Starting a discussion is easy. Trying something is hard. Doing it right the first time is even harder. And so if there are organizations that are out there, and I know there are ones that they mean well, they're trying their best, if you have no one show up to your booth, but you're trying the best, you just have to keep coming back and trying and trying and trying. And so it's empowering to see Colorways or, some of these other organizations that are starting. But I think what we have to do is like, don't stop. Like, we all need to be on a relentless pursuit. And if we didn't do it, if there's something we could have changed, let's change it, right? Like, if there's a way to make it 1% better, let's make it 1% better. If there's opportunity where we make a mistake, let's give ourselves grace to hit edit undo, because what we don't want to do is divide ourselves in an industry where we all need to come together. And so before we all kind of I love that this is happening. I think that I would just challenge us all to make sure that any organization or anything we do, we try to come together on it, as much as we possibly can, and hear each other and feel heard and understood. So I think this is super cool in what you're making. So